Hello, ladies and gentlemen, it's me again, Insane Gorilla. Welcome back to part 5 of What If Deku Was a Mandalorian? Where we left off, Idril and Deku found the holocron. As we all know what the holocron is, it's a Jedi one, so yeah, goody. Now all they need to find is the handle, that strange looking handle. You guys probably know what handle it is, if you can tell by the picture. It's the darksaber handle. I also want to ask you guys something. Do you want me to give Deku the darksaber? Because if you do, then he'll get it. Anyway, going back to the story. As they finally now found the darksaber, Idril asks Deku what should they do for a little while they're here. As Deku says, let's see, we've got to find the handle. So I guess we start searching tomorrow, or something like that. But we're gonna have to leave our armor somewhere safe. We're gonna have to walk around at night to get to the ship to put our armor away. Because I don't think people are gonna be too happy about two people with armor walking around the streets during the daytime. As Idril says, just sighs, saying, "Really? I don't want to walk around these streets without my armor. We're not on Mandalore, so we can't really be assured that we're going to be safe. Especially during the daytime, because what happened earlier today, the heroes, as you call them, will be looking for any strange movement. So if we start walking around during the daytime, we're going to be two unknown people just walking around, and people are going to get suspicious." As Deku replies, just saying, "Not if we don't have our armor on. We'll just look like two ordinary people. And plus, we're both plus I'm 18 and you're 19, so technically we're adults. So leave the stubborn pride for a minute, until we figure out where our quarry lies. Or our prize lies. Then we can put our armor back on, okay?" She just says, "Okay, fine. Fine, you win. You win. Look around for our prize. But what if we don't find it?" As Deku just says, "Well, we know it's in the hands of this All for One chap, or whoever the hell he is. So we're going to have to be a bit creative." As Idril says, "Fine. I'll take my armor off, but I'm taking it off in the ship." As Deku says, that's why we're going to the ship. Because if you last left off, remember Idril hid the holocron within the ship. And for further explanations, they've just been walking around for a bit in broad daylight, and people have been looking at them. and they're talking through comms, so nobody can really hear them that well. As they head back to the ship, taking several different alleyways, just to make sure they don't get tailed, as they get to the vessel, as they get to their little ship. As they walk in and take their armor off, and hide anything of value, including the holocron. As they walk out, but they do have some cloaks with them, so they decide to use them. They're like colourful things, so it doesn't look like they're complete strangers. It's just that they're hiding certain features, as they make up the excuse saying we're just hiding our features because we do not like our faces being revealed. It's just like to the random people who just bump into them every so often. Eventually they get to a, well, not a train yard or train station or whatever. They just get to a park that's near a train station. As they see a bunch of kids having fun and not really caring much. As Idril looks saying, these people are so undisciplined. If they ever face a Mandalorian like us, they would wish they were prepared. Hell, I just hope the Galactic Empire doesn't pay this world a visit, because they are not ready for it. Suzuki just says, I know, but first, let's keep an eye on Mandalore and just hope the Empire doesn't make a move. As they walk off. Continue moving. Basically, they go all over Japan for a few months looking for this all-for-one fella. Eventually, they get back to their ship and send a report straight to Mandalore himself, as he answers, saying, "This is Mandalore." As Izuku says, "It's Izuku and Idril. We're sending a report straight to you, Mandalore." As he says, "Proceed." As over in Mandalore, he has three people. As they listen to what they have to say, as they say, as Deku says, Objective 1 complete, Objective 2 still looking. We know it's here, we just need time to find it. We'll send another report back when we have any inquiries of where it might be. That's all. Mandalore says, okay then, you're dismissed. As Deku says, I'm Mandalore. And disconnects. As somebody perks up saying, do you think the kid will find it? As this is an actual female voice, as Mandalore just says, yes, I'm sure they'll find it. Just make sure your contact's ready to receive him. As she says, she's not going to like it because he's too old, according to her. According to her, she's too old, but I'll see what I can do. There's also reports of a few troublemakers causing problems for the Empire. And she's why and our mutual friend is, well, has told me to keep an eye out for any Imperial interference. Okay, granted, she was a former Padawan to a Jedi Master, but she has strong connections to the Twi'leks. I think this Twi'lek is gonna like this guy, as eventually somebody bursts in saying, "Mandalore, Mandalore, we got problems. Come quick." As Mandalore leaves, and straight back to Izuku Midoriya as they go somewhere else to start looking once again for All for One. And this is when they bump into a skinny man with yellow hair and dark eyes. As he says, "Excuse me, but do you know where I can find people who know how to get things done?" As they look at each other, saying, "There are plenty of people who can get things done. It just depends on what job it is." As the man says, "Well, I'm looking for two heavily armored and armed individuals." As Deku says, "Why are you looking for them?" As he says, "Well, I have a job for them, but I can't find them at all. They appeared once, then, well, they appeared twice, then disappeared. You two were the first ones you two are the first ones I've seen this morning who may have an inquiry of where they are." As they ask for his name, as he says, "Toshinori." As they don't know who Toshinori really is, say, "Well, we can help you try and find them, but no promises. We've only seen them 3 times." As he asks, "Where?" As they say, "Just wandering around. We saw them once going into a shopping mall, then going into a few alleyways. I think one of them head into a bar of sorts, but they looked like they were trying to find something, somebody, or someone or something. Because every time they got together, they would have a little bit of a spat, then move on." Deku trying to throw Toshinori off the trail as he just points in one random direction, saying, "That's where we last saw them." As Toshinori just says, "Thank you," and walks off. As Idril sort of sighs a sigh of relief, saying, "That was too close." And she walks off, along with Deku. Eventually, they bump into a group of people. It turns out it's Bakugo, Ida, Uraraka, and Mina, and basically it's just a whole class of 1A going for going swimming basically. As Bakugo sees them, and as doesn't really see them just yet. As Bakugo is talking to Kirishima, as Kirishima says it still feels very strange that two strangers saved us in the USJ, but that armor looks so manly and all that, but it kind of looks like it's out of this world. As Bakugo just says, yeah, no kidding. It looked like what that bird thing was doing to their arm that didn't even affect them. It just poof. That one guy just gunslinged his weapon up to the thing's head and shot it. Almost like it was nothing. Mineta says, that was so scary. As Todoroki just says, but who were they underneath the helmets? And this is where Izuku and Idril walk past. Bakugo seeing the green hair and saying, Oi, you! Green-haired freak! Calling him a freak just to get his attention. As Deku turns around, saying, what do you want, kid? As Bakugo walks up to him, saying, who are you calling a kid? As Deku just says, you, because you're shouting at me. What do you want? As Bakugo says, I'm looking for a friend of mine. He went missing when he was 15. Have you seen him? As Kirishima says, just shouts, Bakugo, leave the guy alone. Most probably doesn't even know this Midoriya fella anyway. As Deku sort of says, Midoriya. Wait, didn't the Midoriyas go missing like 3 years ago? As just let you know, Deku's now 19 because his birthday was literally a day before they met Toshinori. So he's 19, and Idril's still 19. Her birthday's next month. So, hey. As Bakugo just says, I've been trying to find my friend for 3 years and I still can't find him. As Ochako sort of walks up to Izuku, as Idril gets a little bit, on edge. As Ochako sort of says, bows saying sorry for Bakugo. He's been really angry ever since his friend disappeared, and every chance he gets, he questions people about it. Sorry for the interruption. As then Ida sort of walks up saying, hang on a minute, you have the same eye colour and hair colour as the Midoriya fella. Are you related to him? Doing his whole robot arms thing, because he talks while he does a robot arm. As Drill starts getting very annoyed. Because, according to her, in her head, there's a cute girl trying to talk to him. There's another boy who has problems with his arms. And there's another gentleman who looks exponentially pissed all the time. Eventually, Momo turns up and then that really does start getting her annoyed. As Momo sort of pushes everybody away, saying, "You're crowding him too much, so leave him alone." As she says, "Look, we're meant to be going swimming today, so let's just go swimming and get back to our, well, dorms." Because the dorm system in this is already set up. As they all say fine, Momo asks them both if they want to come along with them, saying, just sort of like saying, it'll be good to get to know you two, because you two may actually be in UA yourselves, and we might just be in different classes, so as might as well just get to know each other. As Idril sort of says, "I don't mind. Never been swimming before, so should be interesting." As Deku sort of face palms, saying to himself, saying in his head, "Really, Idril? We're meant to be searching for something, and now you want to go swimming? What is this? Make new friends day?" Jesus, woman. As Momo says, "Are you coming? Your friend's coming, so you might as well come along." As he says, Fine, I'll come along." As they, actually head to Dagobah Beach. And this is where they meet. Well, this is where they all just meet up. Bakugo still being Bakugo, just a bit sad because he can't find his friend. As they all go to the changing rooms after having to go and get a swimming suit for Idril and a pair of boxers for, a pair of swimming shorts for Izuku. As they all go to changing rooms that are nearby, as they get changed. Mineta, being Mineta, tries to peek on the girls, but Bakugo sort of blows him up a bit, saying, "Don't you dare look in the girls' locker rooms, you perv." As they all bar two, walk out to the beach. As they sort of wait for Deku and, Idril, because they don't know their names, because Momo didn't ask, they both walk out. Idril in a fabulous little swimsuit, as she would sort of admire herself, saying, pretty weird, but I can get used to it. As Deku walks out in a pair of swimming shorts that have palm trees on them. As Idril was the first one out, she actually turns her head to look at him, saying, "Damn it, I forgot how muscly you are." As this is the first time, Deku's showing his actual body off to other people. Because the only person who saw him with this much muscle, or the muscle that he has, is Idril. As all the girls' jaws sort of like hit the ground, as Momo sort of does a whistle saying, sorry if you guys didn't hear that, as Idril just throws daggers gives her the death stare, basically saying, "Don't you dare do that to my man." As Mineta's trying to purr on Idril, as she looks down to see Mineta, drooling, She just sort of says to Izuku, saying, "I'm gonna kick him in the face." As Deku says, "How about I kick him for you? Because he's already creeping me out as well." As they both just join the others, Mineta does try to be pervy, and then ends up getting kicked by two people, aka Izuku and Idril, as they send him flying. Now everybody sort of turns around to see both of them kick him, as they are very scared on how strong their leg strength is, as they virtually see an imprint of Mineta in the wall. As well, Todoroki sort of like says, "Well, that's one less problem we've got to deal with today. But another one is going to try and get him out of the wall." As Bakugo just says, leave him there. Leave him to dry for a bit. Hopefully that kick from two people gets him to change his ways. As they all enjoy themselves. Idril, well, Momo and Uraraka spend their time with, in between Izuku and Idril. First, starting with Idril, talking about her training regiment, and to see how good she is with weapons, which is unfortunate for Momo because Momo gets her ass beat, along with Uraraka a few minutes later. But when it comes to Deku, it's like they just clamp up, saying, "Yeah, we don't want to deal with you." Yeah. No, like you'll crush us, just crush us with one of your hands, with just your bare hands. Which, this is when Kirishima decides to fight with, well, Idril. Sort of like saying, "You may have beaten the girls with weapons, but let's see how good you are with your hands." As he sort of hardens his body as he fights Idril. Idril sort of like, just regardless of if he has armor on, she just demolishes him. As Todoroki and Bakugo take on Izuku, along with Ida, as everybody else just sort of watches. And they are thoroughly not surprised when Izuku kicks their asses. Ida, he just trips up. Bakugo, he not going to feel sorry about this because in canon, Bakugo's a dickhead. Kicks Bakugo right in the crotch. As he then, well, finds Todoroki, picks him up, and throws him. But unfortunately, he lands on Momo, headfirst into her chest, which makes him quickly get up and like run, saying sorry, as she is, well, sort of covering her chest and is, well, just goes bright red in the face. As Bakugo sits there, well, is on the floor crying. As they say, "Yeah, don't mess with us too." As Idril sort of says, makes it up, saying, "We're actually military. We're military. So we kind of went overboard with you guys. Sorry." As everybody's kind of shocked, especially after when Todoroki comes back. after being slightly embarrassed about landing on a girl's chest. As everybody is stunned to hear that these two are actually military. And by this point, as soon as she says military, Aizawa turned up. Just as she said, we're military. As even he's surprised as he says, well, that's certainly a way to make my day. As everybody sort of like just shies down a bit, saying, sorry, Aizawa, sorry that we're late. As he says, you've got plenty of time to get back. I actually came to the beach to actually like relax a bit, and for a bit, and found you guys all getting your asses handed to you. Gotta admit, you two show more promise than these kids in combat prowess. As they say, well, we are military, so to each their own. As well, Aizawa asks them if they can actually join UA as combat instructors. Because he says, I'm sure Principal Nezu will find that intriguing. Having two combat specialists as, well, support teachers. As he asks them what their quirks are, as Izuku says, I don't have one. And Idril says, yeah, I don't have one either. Which takes everybody by surprise. Including Bakugo. As they all like say, huh? How do you not have a quirk? With that amount of strength, you must have a quirk. Izuku just says, no, this is just what training can do to you, especially if you're in the military. Hiding the fact that he is a Mandalorian and combat is in his blood. But certain move that he pulled off jogs Bakugo's memory about his friend, Izuku Midoriya, who always went into a certain stance, and he was in that certain stance. As Bakugo perks up again, saying, okay, before we move on, what is it with you and going into that stance? As Deku says, what stance? Bakugo says, don't play dumb with me. The stance you're just in. As Bakugo just tries to get into tries, then says, you know what, you get into a fighting stance. As Izuku says, okay then. As he gets into the same fighting stance and says, I knew it. Your name's Izuku Midoriya, isn't it? As Deku, within his own mind, says, shit, I should have come up with something different. As he drills face palms. Face palms. As she fakes getting a call from somebody, as she walks off. As Zuko says, Idril, screw you, woman, get back here. Well, this is all underneath his breath, so nobody could really pick it up. Well, apart from Aizawa, who sort of like gives him a bit of a glare, like, who the fuck are you talking to? As, well, Idril returns saying, come on, gotta go. We've been asked. One of our higher ups just called me saying he needs us back at base. Now. As he says, right. As they go to the changing rooms, get changed, then leave. As Izuku whispers to Idril saying, thank you. You got me out of a very, very sticky situation. As Idril quickly chimes in saying sticky situation. As he says, yeah, pretty much. I should have gone into a different stance than that one. As Idril says, let me guess, Bakugo Katsuki? The one with the spiky hair? As Deku just nods his head, saying, yeah, that's Bakugo Katsuki. We're lucky that we just got out of that with a small bit of suspicion. As they continue on with their day. Anyway, guys, this is the end of this part. Hope you all enjoy. Like, comment, subscribe. And do you guys want me to add a bit of a plot twist to this story? Again, going back to what I said in the beginning, if you want me to give Deku the darksaber, I will. But it's all up to you. Bye, guys.